Imagine a calm, slightly hushed voice with gentle pauses for drama. The last streetlight on Maple Lane flickered like it was trying to Morse code its resignation. Every night at 2:17 a.m., it would dim to almost nothing, then flare bright enough to throw sharp shadows across the empty pavement. People who worked graveyard shifts called it the stutter. Kids dared each other to stand underneath when it flared. No one ever got hurt. Nothing ever happened. Until Mara. She was 23, recently fired from the only coffee shop in town that still wrote names on cups, and sleeping in her car 2 blocks over. Insomnia had become her only loyal companion. One night, she walked to the stuttering light, just to feel something other than the ache in her chest. She stood directly beneath it, arms loose at her sides, eyes closed. The light snapped bright. When she opened her eyes again, the street was gone. She was standing on black glass, under a sky the color of old pennies. Thousands of other people stood silently around her, some in pajamas, some in suits, some wearing hospital gowns. None of them moved. None of them spoke. They were all looking up at the same thing, a single enormous street lamp floating 30 feet above the crowd. Its bulb was the size of a small car and pulsed the same sickly amber as the one on Maple Lane. A voice, not loud, not quiet, just inevitable, came from everywhere and nowhere. You each kept one promise you should have broken. Mara felt the words settle into her ribs like coins dropped down a well. She remembered the night her mother asked her to promise never to leave town. Mara was 17, college acceptance letter hidden in her sock drawer. She'd said yes because her mother's hands were shaking, and the chemo had already stolen her hair. She kept that promise for 6 years after the funeral. 6 years of minimum wage, and maybe next year. 6 years of telling herself it was love, when really it was fear dressed up in filial duty. Around her, other people were starting to remember their own unbroken promises. A man in a tailored coat mouthed the words, "I'll wait for you," to someone who wasn't there. A teenage girl hugged herself and whispered, "I won't tell." An old woman touched the empty ring finger on her left hand. The giant lamp pulsed faster. "You may keep the promise," the voice said, "or you may walk forward and break it. One step, one choice. After that, the street returns." No one moved at first. Then the teenage girl took one trembling step. The lamp flared white. When the glare faded, she was gone. Back on Maple Lane, Mara guessed, suddenly free to tell whatever secret she'd carried. One by one, others stepped. The man in the coat, the old woman, a boy no older than 12. Each time someone walked, the lamp burned brighter, and the crowd grew thinner. Mara stayed rooted. She could feel the promise still sitting inside her chest, like a stone she'd swallowed whole. It wasn't choking her anymore. It was just heavy, familiar, safe. The crowd was down to maybe 30 people. The lamp dimmed, not flickering now, slowly, deliberately, like it was running out of breath. Mara looked at the handful of faces still beside her. They looked like people who had spent years practicing how to stay still. She took one step, not forward, backward. The lamp flared so violently, she thought the black glass would shatter. When the light died, she was standing under the ordinary streetlight on Maple Lane again. 2:19 a.m. The stutter was gone. The bulb glowed steady and boring. Her car was still parked 2 blocks away. Her acceptance letter, creased and 6 years old, was still in the glove compartment. She didn't cry. She didn't laugh. She just stood there, breathing different air. Behind her, the streetlight clicked once, softly, like a door latch settling shut. Then it went out for good, and for the first time in years, Mara started walking. Not toward anywhere in particular, just forward. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is keep a promise long enough to understand why you should never have made it.